And it is a doozy. The 12th ranked Cardinal hosting the top-ranked Texas Longhorns. Let's get to the lineups for both of these squads. Starting with the Longhorns, we talked about Logan Eggleston at the start of the show, Don. Asia O'Neal, also a big cog.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see where she matches up. If she matches up with Kendall Kipp, along the front line, then that can have an effect. It's always interesting to see how involved the middles get, how well the teams pass. And then if she gets involved offensively, then that's really a plus for Texas.
Jarrett Elliott in his 22nd year running the show for Texas. Kevin Hamley in his 6th year running the program at Stanford. Sammy Francis, also a big part of what the Cardinals try to do.
And the same thing, again, if she gets involved offensively, that's really a bonus, and that's going to happen for Stanford. They have to pass the ball well. But again, if she can line up against Eggleston right now, it doesn't look like she will be. She'll be in the front row for maybe one rotation against Eggleston.
Well, here we go, a highly anticipated match between the Longhorns and the Cardinal. Away we go. Enjoy it. Eggleston up. That one goes well out of play.
She went high off the top, trying to get a touch on the block. I don't know for sure whether she did, but the middle back for Stanford played it thinking that it touched the block, so she went after it.
So Texas gets the early point. And Zoe Fleck with the serve. Eggleston again. Minor the back set, but well handled
ready
in the air. Close to us. Kipp. Saved by Texas. The push. Kipp again. With hot sauce. 1-1.
This is going to be a fun one. If Stanford handles the ball well and they're really delivering balls with heat, watch Texas's backcourt, Zoe Fleck, Emma Halter, and even Keilani Akana, Kaylee. Well, she goes by Kaylee. I'm going to use that one. But those three can really dig balls in the backcourt for Texas.
Yeah, there are some familiar names for the Texas lineup in particular. Is plenty of transfers, 6 of them overall, but 4 of them from the Pac-12, including Zoe Fleck from UCLA, and a couple of others that we will see as we go along, including Bella Bergmark, the transfer from Cal. She's from Larkspur up in Marin County. McKenna Bikini, she's from Lexington, Kentucky. She finds the open spot on the floor.
Get those middles involved. They've already tried to set Piccini twice, and she doesn't usually get that many sets in this offense, but if she can get going, that's going to really help Stanford.
Piccini hitting .280 on the season coming into this match, had 5 kills, and assisted on 7 blocks against Florida. Back set. Saved by Baird, but too many touches.
You notice how high O'Neal made contact with that set. Elia Rubin's over there, a rookie left side blocker. This is like welcome to the big time.
Rubin, a freshman from Los Angeles, Gatorade Player of the Year from the state of California, the volleyballmag.com National High School Player of the Year last year. No one can get to that one. We're tied to 3 apiece.
But I guarantee you somebody's going to try. These back row specialists, the Stanford back row players, they're going to be pressed to match it with the intensity level of the Texas back row players.
Got a high in a Torres, setting it up. Minor. From the back row. Too long from Eggleston.
They'll come with that back row quick. You call it a bick, and that's a ball that they'll set low enough. It's a very quick tempo set. And if it's just a little too low, that's where Eggleston's going to have a little problem with it.
Eggleston, the senior from Brentwood, Tennessee. Well decorated in this sport. The push.
Oh, come on, don't call the ticky-tack nets. Looked like Francis tried to climb it on that one.
Number 7, Asia O'Neal to serve for the Longhorns.
Francis Minor may have been there as well, and we're tied at 4 apiece.
No need for a challenge on that one.
Asia O'Neal. Back to Rubin. Eggleston steps in. Back set. Francis met at the net. Bergmark in the mix once again. Miner tries the quick one. And dumped down by Madison Skinner, the sophomore transfer from Kentucky.
Great play on both sides. The spiker coverage. You see, Rubin Miner will make a great cover on this play right there. And then, that was Ogilvy. Good help by Rubin.
But that one too long.
Francis in there on the block of the quick, but she had help from the left side blocker Rubin, which is a good move. A lot of times you see freshman outside hitters kind of forget to help out on those plays.
Asia O'Neal, the fifth-year senior, Southlake, Texas. What a story for her. As Kip rises up. Off O'Neal, into the front row. Point Stanford.
Most middle blockers, if you leave them in there to serve, they don't really give you much as far as digging and ball control. But O'Neal will surprise you. She'll come up with some great serves, but she'll also dig some balls.
Elia Rubin to serve, the freshman. Yes, gets it down.
That was a close one. The Texas assistant coach that was sitting right on the line was ready to call that one out, but I think it's too early to use a challenge in this match.
You get two during the first 4 sets, and you get another one if necessary in the 5th. It skips off the tape. Bergmark saves it. And Skinner hammers it down.
Nice reaction play by Bergmark, the middle hitter. Played that ball off the tape, didn't get caught by surprise, and made a perfect pass.
Bergmark from Cal. 10 kills, hit .588 against Stanford in the 2020 season. Her mom, Heidi, a lieutenant with the San Francisco Fire Department. Jared Elliott says that she's really starting to come into her own. How about that? Sneaking that one in.
Well, they'll utilize Kip out of the back row, and usually in the serve receive, it's in the middle back, which is unusual for a right side player and opposite. They're usually hitting in the backside behind the setter, but they use her out of the middle back most of the time.
Kendall Kip, 12 kills against Texas last year. That was a sweep for the Longhorns or the Cardinal down in Austin last year. Phillips gets the point.
That one hit the scoreboard and came over the net. If that had hit the scoreboard after the dig and stayed on the same side of the net as Stanford, it would have been in play.
Stanford all time against Texas on this floor, 7-0 by the way. Cardinal would love to see history repeat itself for an 8th time. Miner, the Bear. Gets it to go.
Baird can sneak it through the block like she does there in the seam. She can take it sharp cross court. She has a great tip shot as well.
2-time all Pac-12. Miner, the reigning Pac-12 freshman of the year with the serve. Molly Phillips handles that one easily.
Well, they go to the backside to Phillips here, and there's a huge gap between the blockers. Bacchini just never quite got out there. On a perfect pass with the speed that these setters run these offenses, it's so hard for a middle blocker to close the block with the outsides.
Back to Kip.
Got a piece.
Yep.
That's a very effective shot. If you can make sure you get it. She got just a touch at the top of the block. It's hard to see it's in real time, but if you miss, it makes you look like a fool when you hit it 50 feet out of bounds. But when you get a piece, that's impossible to stop.
Off the mark from Halter. 10-9, Texas still with the lead.
Kip just took a little bit off of that one, went right over the top.
Kendall Kip. Kevin Hambley, the Stanford head coach, says that she is on track for yet another All-America season. Baird serves. Back set. And they're able to save that one. Too long.
That's what I'm talking about. You miss the top there, and the ball goes 15 feet out. It doesn't look very accurate, but she was trying for one off the top of the block there.
Stanford coming off of a 5-set win at Florida a few days ago. Won the first two, dropped the next two, but then that wacky 5th set they were able to come away with.
Great swing. Once you establish a good line shot as an outside hitter, that just makes you so much harder to block because you can't keep the block inside a little bit and cheat a little bit. She saw that line open and she took it.
Stanford with wins over Florida. Texas with a big win over Minnesota. They handled the Gophers relatively easily in Austin. Eggleston gets the point. 12-10 Texas.
I think that's the one rotation where Eggleston's going to have to go up against Kip and Francis. And so she was effective there working it off the block and out of bounds.
Yeah, Minor can be physical, but Eggleston right there. Fleck tries to handle it and does. And Asia O'Neal stands tall.
Well, on the first set to Kip, it went wide and it blocked off her face. That one right there. Then on the second one, Kip audibled and tried to come in closer behind the setter, but that just brought her closer to O'Neal, and that moved her right into O'Neal's spot.
13-10, Texas the lead. The overpass. Texas makes them pay.
Well, so far, Texas has been pretty mistake-free, and that means Stanford's got to be that way as well, and they've just made a couple
championships before. Stanford knocking off Texas in 2016.
We go back a long way. I can remember quite a few battles with Coach Mick Haley and us, doing battle with Stanford back in the 80s and 90s. Way back in the day.
Oh, not that far back.
Way back.
The push from Rubin. Texas right there to defend. Skinner. But Kip with the response. 14-11.
Yeah, the transition game, Stanford's going to, if they can't side out right away, they're going to have to get organized with their block and defense in a hurry and be able to do some transition damage.
Kip 19 kills, 6 blocks, 6 digs against the Gators last week. Just gets over the tape. Texas can't handle it off a flat.
Well, finally, it's something, a mistake, from Texas' side. They were siding out at over 81% up until that timeout. That's just kind of a ridiculous side-out percentage number.
That was too long. Well, against Florida, Stanford had 21 serve errors.
Right.
And 31 hit errors. Yet they still won.
Yeah, I don't know how you win a match giving up 52 points just by missed serves and hitting errors. Pretty amazing.
Gave up 4 service aces early in that 5th set, but came back with a 10-2 run to close it out. Meanwhile, Bella Bergmark and Sage Kahaina-Torres.
Bella Bergmark has been a huge surprise for these guys. They knew she was pretty good. They saw some video, but they had no idea she was such a good blocker. And Jared Elliott was telling me yesterday, you'll love watching her block because he knows how much I love blocking and teaching blocking.
Well, Cammie Minor certainly has that in her toolbox, the quick win on the 2-ball.
She's gotten better this year. I've already noticed at using that setter dump. She last year wasn't real good at decisions as when to use it and where to put it, and she's improved drastically in that situation.
Had 3 kills on 4 attempts against Florida. Eggleston, Rubin right there on the back row. There's Bergmark.
Those little mistakes, little ball control plays, so that overset, that's the play you've got to be able to control and give the hitter a swing. Otherwise, those are just points that you're going to just keep falling behind.
You think Bella had a little extra hop in her step this week, facing off against Stanford, the former Cal player?
Very possibly. She's probably got a few former teammates in the crowd today.
Skinner has to play it over.
Zoe Fleck just took over that play.
And then Eggleston finished it.
Yeah, Skinner was going to reach back and try to make a play on it, and that's just a leadership of a libero who just takes charge of every little loose ball that's coming over the net. And then she made a perfect pass for it.
Got it down. Katie Baird.
That's a shot she's going to need to use more often. That deep corner, use it all. Get it over the block and take it to the very far deep corner. I have yet to see a team place a defensive player in that far cross-court corner.
Baird at 15 kills. Here's the freshman to serve, Kelly Bellardi. Freshman from LA. High school teammates with Elia Rubin. Bergmark. Puccini sets it up. Minor. To Phillips. Fleck. Haina Torres. With Skinner. Jared Elliott says that Skinner's going to be a superstar before it's all said and done.
Well, up until now, we haven't even mentioned Skinner. You know, even in the pregame or during the first part of this set, she was a right-sider her first year at Kentucky, so she's used to hitting over there on that right side. She played a little bit of left side before she transferred to Texas, where they really are trying to develop her into making her a 6-rotation player.
She was a national champ with the Wildcats in 2020, hit .384 that season. Another overpass. Kip goes wide.
Texas very aware of Kip being back there in the back row. When they set her that time, they had 3 blockers ready and waiting.
Well, Texas starting to get a little bit of separation here against the Cardinal as we continue the first set, 20-14. Texas on top. Jared Elliott, his 22nd year, says that he has a super deep team, but still a lot of unknowns. We mentioned and hinted at it earlier in the show. 6 transfers on the squad.
Right.
A lot of talent, but you're still trying to figure out the pieces to put them in the right spot.
Well, a lot of talent just from the transfers, but they've also got a pretty good freshman class. They've got a good freshman right side who's ready to play, or she's pretty darn soon ready to play, as well as Halter, who's a back row sub that is just outstanding. So they've got those transfers. Bergmark has been a pleasant surprise. They know that they've got Caffey, who came in late a little bit, so she hasn't played much yet, but they've got an All-American from Nebraska sitting there on the bench waiting to play middle. 6
transfers overall, 4 of them from the Pac-12. Ewert, we've already seen Bergmark and Haina Torres, and Zoe Fleck as well.
Ewert, you've got a backup setter right now. You know, Haina Torres is starting, but you've got a backup setter who's started for 4 years already in college, and then Bergmark and Fleck has been outstanding. She was good at UCLA. She was a libero of the year in the Pac-12 before, but I think she's improved. I think she's even better now. She's a student of the game. You'll notice her when she's in the huddles before the Texas staff talks to the team. When the staff is meeting together, Fleck is in charge of that huddle with the rest of the players, and she's watching video. Jared told me yesterday she's probably going to watch before the match. She's probably going to watch 2 hours of Stanford video before they get to this match. So this is a young coach in the making, and she's one heck of a player.
Meanwhile, if you're Stanford, how do you start to turn this around here?
Well, they got to control the ball and continue to attack, and hopefully they're going to get some serves drop. That's what they need. Like I just said, they control the ball, they got a good pass, and then they can flick that quick set out there to Baird, who's capable of, when you get her one-on-one, see Phillips there kind of drifting to her right, but when you're one-on-one, you got a much better shot.
And Katie Baird maybe somewhat flies under the radar.
Exactly.
Stanford.
Yeah, exactly. She is a good, solid, all-around player.
Back set, the dump. Nope.
Stanford needs to convert these transition chances. There we go. We got one there.
That one just twisted down the tape and fell in the Cards' direction, 20-16.
Block a little bit late there.
Minor serves. Molly Phillips.
Both of these teams, if they pass the ball well enough, you know, it's always termed in system. That's just, it's ridiculous. They're going to side out at a ridiculous number. Right now, Stanford has gotten their side out percentage, you know, about 60%, which isn't bad, but Texas is over 75. They're 76.5.
And the Longhorns also hitting 400. Phillips thought that one went over. That one does. 22-16.
Yeah, I mean, the difference is Stanford's made about 4 or 5 ball handling mistakes, and Texas has just gobbled them up. And that's what the good teams do. The good teams make you pay every time you make a mistake, whatever contact it might be, pass, set, or hit. If it's not high quality, then it could cost you.
Ficini quickly.
A little bit low with that set, so she had to just keep it in, and there we go.
Logan Eggleston.
Yeah. Texas has worked hard this week on their transition game. I know, talking to the coaches yesterday, and that's the kind of thing. They just attack off of a play like that. The transition happens very quickly.
Baird gets it down.
Yep, that's Baird just finding a way to get the job done. The pass was off the net far enough. O'Neal had already released to cheat out towards Baird, so she had 2 blockers going up against her, but she just found a way to sneak it down under the block.
Baird, according to Kevin Hambley, puts up good numbers, takes efficient swings, makes good decisions. That's a good checklist to have.
Now Stanford has to take advantage of one like this to get back in this set.
Like that?
That is taking advantage. That one had some heat. Fleck, you see Fleck going to get ready to dig down the line. That thing's just too hot to handle.
Kendall Kipp with the hammer, the second-team All-American from last year. Meanwhile, Molly Phillips has had some moments throughout this first set.
Yeah, going in, watching this team play, you know, their earlier games, I didn't think Phillips would be that big of a factor offensively. But, you know, again, when they pass the ball well enough, Eggleston does not have to carry much of a load in the front row. They've got a lot of other weapons.
4th kill for Phillips. Set point number 1 for Texas. And Eggleston closes the book on an impressive first set for the Longhorns.
Yep, another good quick transition for Texas. Looked very efficient that game.
Eggleston with 6 kills. Second set coming up in a moment.
Good team, so it was fun to watch a lot of that NCAA volleyball at the end of the year.
Emma Halter, the #1 ranked player in Indiana, the freshman, gets it going for Texas. Fleck there as usual. Minor to Baird.
That's just a great move, block move. Not only was it with well set block by Phillips, number 15, but 45 Bergmark. She just made a great move into the middle of the court.
We've mentioned Bella Bergmark on a few occasions already in this one. That one goes into the net. Serve error.
Both teams start in the same rotations that they were in the first set. That generally Texas starts in the second rotation, meaning the setter's in the middle back. And that basically puts Eggleston in the left front. That starts her in the front row. Stanford usually starts with Cammie Minor as their first server.
That one's out from Bergmark. 2-1 Stanford.
At this stage of the season, I don't think you see too much as far as tactical, you know, rotation, setting, and things like that. Both coaches are just kind of going with what they go with, and just seeing how their teams play and react to situations.
Over to Baird. Off of Minor as Phillips handles another one.
Another great thing about watching two top-level teams is the spiker coverage. If somebody hits a ball and it gets blocked, it doesn't always go down. There's somebody that's ready to pop that ball in the air and keep the rally alive. And I'm seeing a lot of great coverage out here on both sides.
The awareness, the quickness.
Yeah.
Texas ready for that one.
Yeah, Katie gave that one away just a little early. As soon as she left the ground to jump, she stuck her arm straight up in the air with her hand open. It's basically just like sounding the alarm. It's going to be a tip. Got to make this look like it's going to be an attack first before you tip the ball.
So many nuances. Kip the tip. Bikini to swing. And Texas the point.
O'Neal, really good recognition in there. She saw the setter kind of set up. Watched a quick look at the setter to get an idea where she's looking like she's headed, and she was standing right there in front of Vicini's spot.
Denied at the net, Baird and Vicini.
Yeah, both good blockers. Bump set high, straight up in the air, so that gives the blockers a chance to know exactly who's going to be hitting it. Baird with good technique there, held her ground and got her hands in good position.
Baird goes back to serve. And Kip with the point.
So far, Kip's been most effective taking it down the line. We may see Texas make an adjustment and just tell their left side blockers to get out there farther and force her to go cross court. We'll see if that happens.
The chess match never ends, does it?
Never ends. One play at a time for as long as it takes.
Serve error, 5-4.
There's a real zen to this game where it's just this play, this contact, the here and now. That's most important. But making adjustments, learning from your past.
Kayla Akana, a transfer from Nebraska, 1 of 2 from Lincoln. Kayla Caffey, also a transfer.
She's got a tough serve.
Fleck out of nowhere.
Nope, don't think she got one. No, the linesperson down in Texas corner made that call.
So 6-4 Texas.
Nope. Eggleston out there a little further on the line that time.
Back to O'Neal. She finds a spot.
Off speed through the seam. That was interesting. I mean, she did that on purpose. It wasn't because she got a bad set. She just kind of took a little off it and found the hole.
Asia O'Neal had 2 heart surgeries in 2019. One before the season, another one after the battle of heart condition, and she didn't miss a game in the 2020 season. That's out.
That's a pretty tough kid.
Yeah. Yeah, and we can't really do the story justice here. I highly suggest that you go check it out and read it for yourself, because it's just an incredible story of perseverance and dogged determination by Asia O'Neal.
Okay, now here in this rotation, you've got no back row attack for Texas, but there's 3 really good back row players back there. So they're going to rely on Eggleston and O'Neal only in that rotation.
Yeah, Elliott's singled out Fleck, Kayla Akana, and Emma Halter as well.
Yeah, you see Eggleston and O'Neal up there with the setter at the net, and then those 3 back row specialists are all very solid.
Back set. Sammy Francis right there. Haven't mentioned Sammy Francis a whole lot to this point in the show.
Well, Stanford hasn't passed the ball well enough to get her involved offensively, so she's going to have to make her presence felt at the net. And that time she has a choice to make. She's got to go to Eggleston or to O'Neal, but she's not going to be able to just stay in the middle and wait to see.
Sammy played outside last year, now back at middle blocker, where Kevin Hambley says she has a lot of swag. Speaking of swag,
Yeah.
Logan Eggleston.
Well, you see how fast the setter gets it out there. You know, you see it on this replay. Watch how the setter delivers it. This thing never, gets too high above the net. It's out there in a hurry, so that makes it so hard for a middle blocker to have to choose to go left or right. And then, even though Francis, for her size, has pretty good lateral movement, that's just a really hard ball to stop.
Kip again.
That pass was just good enough, about 7 feet off the net, to hold the middle blocker. You see O'Neal there was kind of stationary as the ball was set, and that just gave her the opening. If there's any chance that she could get the ball into the middle there to Francis, that means O'Neal's got to pay attention.
Well, that was certainly something we saw a lot of from Stanford against Florida.
Yeah.
Serve errors, 21 of them, as a matter of fact, against the Gators in that 5-set marathon.
For the most part, they were long. They were not balls into the net, which is definitely better, but it's still, they have to adjust. They got to maybe back up a little bit, serve from a different spot, take a little off of it, but there's nothing you can do about a ball that's served into the net.
There's Sammy Francis.
Yeah, she snuck that one in under the block. It was close to being blocked, but she got away with it. Yeah, the blockers for Texas just a little high. All you need to do is leave a ball's width of the room up there, and you can get taken advantage of. Tough serve, but a perfect pass.
And well handled by the Longhorns.
That was Akana. Took it, nice platform, perfect pass. Setter's got choices when she's up there, and they like to get it offensive. Setters like to, let people know, I'm going to send this over every once in a while. You better pay attention.
Little message sender.
And as soon as they do, then that opens up other hitters. As soon as blockers start to worry about the setter, now you've got other hitters that are going to get free.
Sage Ka'ahaina Torres from Honolulu, transferred from Utah. This is her 7th match played against the Cardinal in her career. Fleck comes in. And there's Sammy Francis.
Off the block, though. That one out of bounds.
Yep.
Francis got over, but her hands were facing the wrong direction. She got out there. Yeah, you can see her reaching kind of sideways. Her right hand was too high in the air.
11-9 Texas. That one gets down.
I think as the season wears on for Stanford, Francis and Minor will start getting that connection. Right now it's a little bit slow developing. Francis is kind of set dependent. If the set's a little inside, she has to take it cross court. Things like that. As they develop their connection, that's going to be very effective for the Cardinal.
Saved initially by Bellardi, but the Cardinal couldn't quite do anything with that one. Yeah, it's all evolving. We're just 3+ matches into this thing, and each of these respective teams look now, they could look completely different by the time November rolls around.
Well, it's a great thing to play good teams early in the season. You find out, you're going to find out what your weaknesses are.
Yep.
You're not going to let things get glossed over by a lot of wins against easy opponents.
Texas already with 2 wins over 7th-ranked Ohio State and 4th-ranked Minnesota. Logan Eggleston again. Kill number 10.
Yeah, when Stanford just tries to keep the ball in play, they better get ready in a hurry in transition because that thing's coming back at them fast.
Eggleston hitting .350, 10 kills, 4 digs so far. Just falls out of bounds. Point Stanford.
Another luxury these Texas middle blockers have is they can jump in the middle, either with a setter like Bart Mark did there, or with a middle hitter, and not worry about getting outside, because even when they're one-on-one on the outside with blockers, that defensive presence in the back row, those kids are going to dig balls, and so they're not worried about hitters getting it by the block. Great play by Emma Halter.
And a fantastic finish by Eggleston. Set up very, very well by Halter.
She's not very tall, and when she has to stretch out back there, there she is. She's inside the court, and she makes that move. She looks like somebody's 12-year-old sister that they let play. But all due respect, I told her that yesterday. I gave her a hard time, but still, boy, is she tough.
And just a freshman. Point for Texas. 15-11. Stanford with a small lead early in the set, but Texas then. Stanford versus Texas now. And to this point, it's been a professional showcase for the Longhorns.
Yeah, Longhorns have been pretty efficient. And again, like I said, boy, when they go specialists back there, they're talking specialists. They got to get Akana and Halter and Fleck. And with the three of those players back there, it is hard to put a ball away.
Point for the Cardinals.
Katie Baird working hard for her kills. They are not coming easily.
Now serving number 22.
Third in the Pac-12 last year with just over 4.2 kills per set.
Her percentage has dropped off a little bit here in the second set.
Miner can't handle that one. Phillips again.
Phillips hits from the right side. It's usually coming cross court, and she tends to. And she gets a ball out there far enough for herself and to be able to hit line, she will. But most of the time, you better be ready when you're the cross court digger.
Phillips with a clever insta handle. Molly Green Giant. Kip with the swing. Fleck, Halter, Ka'aina Torres saves it. Hammered down by Kip. Terrific work by Texas on the back row, but then Kip with the finish.
Well, if you have to work that hard for your side outs, it's going to be tough to get side outs. Look at Halter go. Yeah, Kip then finally just decides to put an end to it. She has enough of this business.
Ogilvy. That one goes high off the scoreboard, but Miner doesn't get enough on it on the third touch.
Ogilvy with a great touch. I think Rubin kind of overreacted that time. She could have just controlled the ball a little bit better. That was kind of a panic contact, we used to call it.
Freshman may be learning some things here today.
Oh, she's a good player. She's going to be a good player for Stanford.
Yep.
She kind of reminds me a lot of Megan McClure, who was an outside hitter for them in recent years and did a very good job for them. That serve was on its way out.
That one is down the line and staying in.
Well, Kendall kept showing that the quality of player she is, you know, against the top opponent. She's going out there and getting good position on the ball and really giving a good rips. Texas still hasn't really stopped her line shot.
12 kills.
Another perfect pass.
And a fantastic finish by O'Neal.
Yeah, who do you serve? Who do you go back there and try to serve? You know, that's the problem. You got to find a spot that might work for you. But boy, great passing by Texas. They're still hitting over 70% as far as side out percentage.
(18-14) Texas. And off we go. Bergmark back in action.
Yeah, it's almost like that you send a ball over there. You give them a free ball. It's just a matter of who's going to be the one to do the damage.
Bergmark 6 kills against Minnesota earlier this week. Cardinal have called timeout. Kevin Hambly tries to get his squad regrouped, trying to figure out a way to get back in this and close the gap here before the second set is done.
Yeah, the Stanford middles only have 9 total attempts between the two of them. You know, 5 for Francis, 4 for Vicini. So they've got to get a little bit more offense, but they can't pass the ball well enough to do it.
Well, Pac-12 season is looming off in the distance. For the Cardinal, it does begin on September the 21st when Stanford heads up to Berkeley. Pac-12 preseason poll Washington at the top. Stanford got a couple of first-place votes with UCLA and Oregon also getting first-place votes as well. Should be another intriguing year up and down the conference, as it always is.
Yeah, it usually is. It's interesting. It's hard to tell with the preseason poll, especially this year with transfers and different things. But, there have been a lot of losses by Pac-12 teams in this first week and a half of the season, so it's hard to tell who's really going to be strong. And again, with teams like Stanford and a couple others, you're going to see teams that are going to get way better as the season goes on.
Meanwhile, we know Texas is going to stay strong in the Big 12, and it appears that the gap between Texas and everybody else in the Big 12.
Yeah, Baylor's pretty good. Baylor's pretty good, but they're not as good as they have been in recent years. They've lost a couple of really great players. But Iowa State, Kansas, I think Kansas State might be a little bit better than that ranking right there. But I'm not, I'm no expert at this time of the year. I don't think anybody is. I've never really paid much attention to preseason rankings and polls.
Postseason ranking.
Yeah, the one at the end, the last poll. That's the one I'm most concerned with.
I had to laugh. Stanford men's soccer was unranked and got no votes at all in the week 1 of that preseason poll.
Right.
Week 2, they're number 3.
Yeah. I think before the first poll comes out, they need to have let them play a couple weeks, play 2 or 3 weeks.
Jenna Ewert with the serve for Texas. Skinner tried it. Rubin gets it to go.
Her first kill. It's taken a while, but she finally got broken the seal. So maybe she's going to catch fire here and help the Stanford Cardinal.
She won gold with the U.S. U21 national team at the Pan American Cup over the summer.
Solid player from Marymount High School, which has produced a lot of great players. One being Kristen Klein Keefe. Went to Marymount back in the day, one of the Stanford's all-time greats.
And Rubin serves. Baird. Skinner gets it to glance off of Kip.
Yeah, Stanford got a chance there. Kind of his bad, not so good pass from Texas, and Stanford kept the ball in play, had a transition swing, but they didn't really get a good swing. Baird had to tip the ball in, and they gave up their opportunity to score there.
Sage Ka'ahaina Torres led the Pac-12 in assists per set in the 2020 season. Here she is in the Big 12. Skinner keeps it in.
Another point-scoring chance that Stanford's got to take advantage of.
But that one hit long.
Those little mistakes, when you get the opportunity, you've got to take advantage. She just missed it. It's a great opportunity. It's a great try. She's got a great line shot, but they're just long.
And it seems like that's been the story of this match to this point. Small mistakes and Texas capitalizing.
That was just a miss. Almost missed it completely.
Well, sometimes that happens.
Yep. Sometimes it depends on the lighting in the arena, too. As you're an outside hitter and you look up to the set, sometimes, there's a bank of lights that you look right into, and it's not always that easy to pick it up. And a lot of people don't realize that. When you see an outside hitter out there struggling, sometimes it's just it's bad lighting, right behind where the set is.
Well, no problem seeing where that one was. No Bella Bergmark.
Number 45, Bella Bergmark.
Yeah, not a huge gap. Minor had to go out there and look for the outside hitter, and they just gave him that one. Sometimes you've got to give up something in order to go get into position for what you feel like will most likely happen. And in that case, they just left that set absolutely open.
Kip back in, replacing as Taylor Bevan comes off. Kip with 12 kills already.
Look for her to come right down the middle out of the back row if they could get a good enough pass.
They go to Baird instead. Quick one. Ficini right there. Even the dig, but Texas with the net front presence.
That's a huge block.
Number 15,
Stanford fighting there in the rally. Great dig by Rubin. But this big block, 6'5", Phillips got up most of that one, and Bergmark was right there with her.
Molly Green Giant strikes again.
It's nice when you can just stand out there and just wait and just jump straight up. When you're moving laterally, it's tough to really get your momentum going back upwards and not get the benefit of playing the best, whenever you can. You're going to find out as soon as you make a play or make a contact, that's just a little bit off. In practice, you get away with it, and in the game, you get burned. You have to pay for it. So, they're going to get better, and they've got a good squad there. They got to stay healthy. I'm not sure how much of a bench they'll have this year, but that remains to be seen.
Well, they're certainly deeper now than they were in the 2020 season when they never had more than 9 players available at any point.
There we go.
Trying to put Stanford back in it.
Yeah, it was a matter of time in that rotation. I don't think when they put her in and had her sitting back there, I don't think they wanted to use her right away because Texas would have been waiting for it. So that was a good time to use Kip on the big.
Always good to have a plan coming straight out of the timeout now.
Yep.
True in every sport, it seems. Eggleston. Heads up in the 8th row, back behind us. Set point coming up for Texas.
Perfect pass by Fleck. That's the thing. Texas putting on a serve-receive exhibition right now because they're running their offense pretty well, pretty easily. 75% side-out rate.
Missed by inches.
I think when fans, Stanford fans have been around these recent years, they're used to Morgan Hintz and the defense she played and what the excitement she provided. Ogilvy is a great libero, but she does things in kind of a quiet way. She just, you just don't notice her out there like you used to with Hintz. Zoe Fleck is more like a Morgan Hintz, where you notice her when she's out there. Even though she's not flying around quite as much as Morgan did, she's got help back there.
Well, you certainly notice Asia O'Neal as she closes the book on the second set. Second verse, same as the first. 25-18 the scores from both sets. Texas goes on a 2-0 lead with Stanford trying to find a way to get in the scoring column. Third set coming up from the far. Some things the Cardinal might be able to do to try to turn it around here.
Well, the old coaching adage is serve and pass, and I think that from a serving standpoint, they've got to find a gap or something. Maybe, like I said, go back a little deeper, hit it a little harder, try to get Texas out of their rhythm. But I think on the receiving side for Stanford, I think they've tried to pass quite a few balls, at least from my vantage point, that look like they're going out. And I think that maybe if they were a little bit more, disciplined on reaching up for a ball that might be sailing out of bounds, that might create a few serving errors for Texas and give Stanford some free side outs. But you take that chance, letting a ball drop for an ace. But I think some of them have been definitely sailing out. Same lineups, no change as far as the rotation goes. Thought we might see some substitutions, maybe a couple for Texas, give some of those bench All-Americans a little playing time.
The reinforcements that also have the decoration and the hardware.
Yeah.
Miner takes that one into the net to begin.
Yeah, we've only had a couple of serving errors. That's the first one for Stanford and only 2 for Texas. So it's interesting that there haven't been very many serving errors.
After having 21 against Florida last week. 2-0 Texas. If
you looked at that, from replay, if you saw something from the end zone there, you'd see the Texas blockers just standing out there waiting for Katie Baird.
Fleck again. Baird.
That got a piece of the scoreboard. Torres made a handle of it.
Back set. Kip. Asia O'Neal with other ideas.
O'Neal and Eggleston, it's a pretty solid block as well out there.
Boy, Eggleston, a complete 6-rotation player.
Yep.
And Asia O'Neal not bad herself. And right now it is all Texas to begin the third set.
That was a nasty serve. That thing started at Baird toward to her left and then broke away from her. It might have even gone out of bounds. I don't have that angle on it, but
Cardinal need to regroup as Texas on a 4-0 run to start the third.
I need business communication that works anywhere I do. Some of the tools may work outside the office, but others definitely don't. It's sort of a mess for IT. That's where Nextiva comes in. Nextiva has powerful, easy-to-use communication tools, which means deeper connections with your customers. And you can use these tools anywhere, the office, home, and everywhere in between. So no matter where you are, Nextiva keeps you connected with your customers and your teammates.
Let's dive in.
What about your back?
It's fine.
Advil Dual Action fights pain 2 ways. Advil targets pain at the source. Acetaminophen blocks pain signals. Advil Dual Action.
Pac-12 women's volleyball is brought to you by Clean Simple Eats, elevating life through food and fitness. And by Sprouts Farmers Market, the official grocer of the Pac-12. That's a look at the main quad. Stanford University, one of the more scenic campuses you are going to find. The coastal foothills off in the distance. Right now, Texas fans loving the scenery that the scoreboard at Maple Pavilion is providing them. Up 2-0 and up 4-0 to start the third.
little gut check here for Stanford. They're going to have to just hang in there and battle back. See if they can't, get a little respectability out of this last set and not let it get away from them.
Well, that's a start. Stanford gave up 4 consecutive service aces to begin the 5th set against Florida last week. Then they turned it around and closed it out on a 10-2 note. They've certainly fought back with vigor with their backs behind the wall. O'Neal with the swat and the point. Asia O'Neal working on her master's in sport management.
Yeah, I'll bet there are a lot more master's degrees been getting by players, athletes who've got that extra year of eligibility.
Yep. Meanwhile, McKenna,
they're going to call a throw on Vicini there.
Yep. 6-1 Texas now.
That one stuck a little bit too long.
Yep.
And she kind of changed directions with it too, so that's going to definitely create a call.
Fleck and Kahania Torres almost collide, but Eggleston cleans it up. 7-1.
Well, if you go after a loose ball, you better be ready for Fleck to enter the scene somewhere along the line. She crashed there into Sage, but again, a sharp angle by Eggleston. Wow, what a great shot.
Sharp cross court. Had the window and took it.
Tough serve, but no swing. Oh, they miscommunicated on that one. Eggleston wanted an audible. She wanted to come in quick inside the blocker. And Sage didn't hear her, evidently.
It's intriguing. You mentioned a lot of kids getting their grad degrees. You're seeing some 6th years. Texas has a 7th year. Kayla Cathy. Hit right back at her. Sammy Francis is enough.
Well, all Francis needed was a pass a little bit off the net. You see where Sage is setting that one from. That just gave her time to get out there and penetrate.
Sammy Francis, 6'6". Got chided a little bit for her height as a kid, but she realized early on she couldn't change it, so she learned to embrace it. O'Neal hammers another one down.
That serve was just a lollipop, basically. That thing, they got him out of system that last play, and then they should have just kept the hammer down and go for another tough serve. And that last one was more of a keep it in serve.
Eggleston to serve. The Big 12 preseason player of the year with the service error. Makes it 8-4. Texas with the lead. Yeah, Longhorns have a 7th-year player, Kayla Caffrey, a graduate. Just transferred from Nebraska, just joined the team about a month ago. Redshirted in 2016, had a medical hardship in 2018, and of course the COVID year in 2020. Back to O'Neal. And just gets it down.
Well, she could get away with that because she's contacting it from such a high point that she's not tipping it up into the air before it goes over the block. She's just tipping it over the block on a downward trajectory.
All part of the toolbox, right?
Yep. And she's got a tough serve, and we'll see when she serves the ball. See her play some defense when she's in there too. She does not take that time off when she gets a chance to play back row.
Asia's dad, Jermaine, of course, former NBA star. And she's back to serve.
There we go. Right on cue.
Yeah. That's just good analyzing, Coach.
Expert analyst, you know.
That's why they pay you the big bucks.
Great dig by Ogilvie. Francis might want to get in on this one. Oh, they got it underneath her.
Rubin, yes.
Boy, Stanford sure gave this crowd something to cheer about. Yeah, there's Rubin, made a good move, solid position on the sideline, and then made her move to the inside, as opposed to O'Neal on that one, who was kind of caught inside and then had to make her move out towards the sideline. Is a huge difference.
Ogilvie leading the charge in that sequence. The miss hit.
Stanford's got to win this rally after what just happened. Nope.
Off the touch. Point, Texas.
Yeah, those little cracks, in the armor, you got to get through them.
Well, and Stanford just has not had a chance to get some big runs going.
Yeah, there's that play off the top. Skinner really hasn't been much of a factor tonight. If she gets rolling, then that's going to be a whole new thing for Texas. I would like to see Texas just, for one set, have Jared Elliott say, okay, we're gonna run this set without ever setting Logan Eggleston. I want the ball to go to anybody but her, just to see what would happen.
Kelly Bellardi, freshman from Manhattan Beach, Marymount High School once again. Phillips, Fleck.
Rubin playing some D back there.
Skinner again. And that one gets down.
She got tucked in a little too close that time. You want your middle back not to get too close. Almost took her head off.
Madison Skinner. Her dad also a longtime NBA player. Brian had a 14-year career in the association. High into Torres, can't handle that one. 11-7.
Good pass. Stanford siding out a little bit better this set, but they've got to score when they get opportunities to score against Texas. They've had about 3 or 4, and here we are, they're 4 points behind.
Stanford has had only one 3-0 run so far in this match. And it's plays like that have allowed Texas to keep the door jammed tightly shut.
Well, in rotation 1 here for Stanford with Rubin in the right back, Early in the set, they tried Katie Baird stacked over with the other two hitters, Kip and Vicini, and that's when they got that 4-0 deficit. They've moved her back over right where she's passing right there. They've moved her back, and they're in a better shape that way.
Halter digs that one out, and Eggleston just gets it down.
Yeah, when they tried that stack, they're trying to get Baird to hit on the left side. In this one rotation, usually the outside hitter hits on the right side like they are right now. But they were trying to get it over there on the left and keep her there, but they paid the price.
Meanwhile, deadly accuracy by Eggleston. Halter there again. And Molly Phillips rises and fires, 14-7.
Phillips again hammering that seam cross court. Kip needs to stay inside more, and those cross court diggers just need to know it's coming, expect it.
Cardinal call timeout. Texas in danger of running away with this one. 6 transfers have joined the Longhorns this year, 4 of them from the Pac-12. We told you about that earlier in the show. And you and I talked with both coaches about the transfer portal. And Jared Elliott says, look, you know, what you got to do is you make sure that you invest in each player and that you create a culture of trust and communication. Make sure that everyone's on the same page as quickly as you possibly can. Meanwhile, Kevin Hambley says, look, I don't even have to worry about that just because of how Stanford operates. I don't even really look at the transfer portal. So it's intriguing to see how the transfer portal has affected, or maybe in one case, Stanford's not affected the roster management for the whole program.
Well, I think when Jared Elliott talks about, you know, the developing trust and communication, I think that's easier said than done. Sure. When you're dealing with these one-year, players, and I think that trust. Another part of that is recruits. You know, when you're a high school recruit and you really want to go to Texas or whatever school, and suddenly they bring in a player that plays your position, how do you feel about that? You know, are they going to develop you for 4 years? You know, Kevin says, yeah, we've got them for the whole time, and we're going to develop them, not only as players, but, in their relationships and all that. So I think that, the teams that are really taking advantage of it, they're not breaking any rules doing it. That's the rules now. Right. So they're taking advantage. At Stanford, well, you just can't get up and go transfer to Stanford. It's not that easy to do. So they're in a different boat, and they're just going to try to do the best they can with what they can do.
Back to action. And the swing by Katie Baird.
Stanford making a good fight of it here, even though they got into a deficit early and they're still down here. They're playing hard. They're making some good plays, and their ball control has improved slightly.
Coming in and serving for Stanford.
14-8, Texas still leads. Anna Pringle coming into serve. She's a freshman from La Jolla. Her sister Emily plays soccer at Penn.
Good cover by Minor. That saved the play.
Minor saves it, and the Cardinal finish it.
And then Rubin with a good swing. She went hard at the block the first swing, but then the second time she turned it cross court and really made a nice play. Their set got a little bit further off the net for that second one, made it a little easier too.
Boy, Rubin has had some plays that I'm sure she'd love to have back, but she's also had some terrific moments along the way as well.
She's a competitor. She's a tough kid and a good player.
Meanwhile, Phillips, consistent, her 9th kill of the day.
Yeah, she's had a good match.
6 kills against Stanford last year. As Kayla Akana goes back to serve. Transferred from Nebraska this past offseason. She was an outside hitter in high school. How in the world did they keep that alive?
Well, Eggleston should go over and give a big group hug to those 3 back row players. That thing was bouncing around the pinball machine.
Gets it down the line. Rubin's starting to catch fire here.
Rubin's hitting like she's a little ticked off. I think she's gotten a little bit more juice going. That was a nice opening down the line, and she found it.
Back to that previous play. Is that something where if you're Stanford, you just kind of shrug and say, hey, tip the cap to him?
No, those things happen. You know, you put the ball down the other side and it doesn't go down. You just get ready. You better be ready in transition. You know, Stanford they took another good swing. Eggleston made a nice block. She got out there and blocked Kip's line. Kip was just going with what works, but Eggleston made the adjustment, and she came out there and decided to block the line on that last one.
There's Rubin again, finding a rhythm.
This is great for her confidence. You know, after she had played the first 2 sets, to come out and really light it up now in the 3rd set. That's a good thing for her.
Rubin getting it going. She's now hitting 286 on the afternoon. As you look at Kendall Kip. Kip with 12 kills, hit 476 at Texas last year. She's got 13 so far here today. Texas, to this point, the deeper team. They've certainly shown that here this afternoon.
Nice, tough serve.
Skinner. No.
Tough serve, ball off the net. Skinner taking a swing, but when you give Francis that time to get out there and get over, then she's taking up a lot of space. See Francis releasing to the outside, and she's got the time to just reach and penetrate.
Francis, all Pac-12 freshman team last year. Point to Texas.
Going to be hard for Rubin to have perfect block position out there against O'Neal. She's given it her best shot, but that's going to be a tough assignment.
Melanie Parra is in the match now for Texas. She's about to serve, the sophomore from Culiacan, Mexico.
Some great athletes out of Culiacan, Mexico. Julio Arias, the pitcher for the Dodgers. And then I remember a player from my day in the professional league. Jose Luis Garcia was this player from Culiacan. He was known as Mas Fuerte del Mundo, the strongest in the world. He used to hit a very heavy ball.
That's a cool nickname.
Mas Fuerte del Mundo, yeah.
I like that. I can barely say it.
I think he gave it himself. He gave it to himself. He told people, "I'm the strongest in the world." I hit the hardest. He's a great guy. Anyway.
Helter-skelter sequence there. Stanford gets the point.
Well, she gets the tape serve, and fortunately, Minor's paying attention. The setter usually is running in and getting in position to set, but what their first job is to go look and see whether the ball might hit the tape. And so she was just doing her job.
A quick one.
Nice read by Kip.
Back row, nope.
Ogilvy again.
And a heater from Kendall Kip.
Nice rally. And again, you know, Ogilvy, she's silent over there. You know, you just don't know until she makes a play like that she's out there.
Elena Ogilvy, the junior from Honolulu, actually had to move to outside hitter for a couple matches last year due to the injury suffered by the Cardinal.
I don't know, we might have a challenge of some kind here. I didn't notice the...
Let's take a look down the net.
Well, there wasn't a back row attack violation. I don't see the net moving because the net was hit by the ball earlier. Sometimes the net's still moving a little bit after the ball hits the tape. I don't know what they're looking for. I saw no violations in that last replay. So from my standpoint, it had maybe something before that.
Now, of course, our opinions are not the official ones. We'll take another look here.
See, the net was already moving before that a block attempt. So I don't see, unless yeah, I don't think Francis netted on that. To me, even before she left the ground, the net was bouncing up and down slightly.
Isn't it amazing how they can look at things and break it down to its most fine compound and use technology to come away with the correct calls, or at least what you hope are the correct calls?
Well, if you watch any international volleyball, any of the big tournaments, the professional leagues overseas, they don't even use lines people. They have dedicated cameras all around the gym. See, I'm not sure what they're talking about here. Yeah, the ball kind of clipped the tape. I don't think it was the blocker. But they have cameras that are such high-speed cameras that the slow motion replays, they'll show a touch off of a pinky finger at the top, and you can actually see the contact of the ball and the finger. So the cameras are so good, and they've got them all over the arena. They don't even use lines people in the Italian professional league, I know. Yeah, we're going from the very start of the rally here. Net still not moving. Yep. Somebody clipped it. Nope. I don't know what caused that net to move. Because yeah, the ball never touched it. And Francis was standing there, and then all of a sudden the net started moving, and I didn't see Francis.
Well, after all that,
yeah, well,
call stands.
Yeah, they couldn't tell. There was no definite. All right, well, here we go. Let's restart.
Back to action with Rubin serving. Eggleston.
She was close to the attack line on that one.
Yep. That one over the line. 20-14.
That's a hard one to see from the other team's vantage point. If there's Kevin Hamblin, he's standing over there behind the lines person, way off the back line. So it's hard to challenge something that's done way over here on this side. Off the pass.
Madison Skinner, sophomore from Katy, Texas. 21-14.
Good swing. Francis just needs to reach over the net. You'll see here she's reaching out kind of towards the hitter, and when you do that, you open up a little bit more area across court. If she reached straight over the net towards the back line, she might have blocked that ball.
Able to find the opening at the back of the floor there, 21-15.
Now serving for the Cardinals, number 17,
Sammy Francis going back to serve. Sophomore from San Diego. Quickly to Bergman. And denied at the net. Piccini and Baird.
See Baird lining up, getting ready, makes her move to the outside and gets her outside hand on that ball. She had plenty of room to get it in there.
Stanford trying to not go quietly. But Madison Skinner, holy smoke.
She didn't get out there on that one. If you saw the same camera angle there, you'd see the line open. And here we go. You got Skinner out there, and she didn't quite get out there, and that one just caught the line. Sometimes I question those lines people when they're ducking out of the way and still making the call. They've got to hang in there, and make the call, then get out of the way.
The dump, Texas ready for it. And a point for the Cardinal.
Card hanging in there, but they're running out of time.
Yep.
Especially at the rate Texas sides out. All they need is three side outs or even one, and they can score a couple points otherwise. But tough to come back in a situation like this.
Well, from here, the hard test for the Cardinal continue. Out to Minneapolis for a couple, one against Penn State, the other against Minnesota as well. Then Nebraska, as they stop off on Lincoln on their way back to the West Coast, and then Louisville is Stanford's next home game after this one. Well done by Ogilvy. Phillips denied initially, but then gets it to fall.
That's a tough play, but you've got to assume that the ball is going to tip the net. And Kendall needed to drop down a little lower and wait and see whether that was going to happen or not. But she was standing straight up, upright, thinking he was going to just play the ball. That cost her.
Fleck.
Great play.
Ogilvy.
Great play.
Minor.
They're all back there, so you better put it down. Oh, that was a lift.
And it's a point for the Cardinal.
Yeah, that ended up a point, one contact later, but the setter really lifted that one just to keep it in play. So Stanford, again, still hanging. Halter and Fleck back there. So there's very little real estate that's free back there.
They have gotten after it. Kevin Handley, Stanford trying to stave off Texas. With Anna Pringle re-entering the match.
Rotation 3 here, so Eggleston, O'Neal, and Phillips all in the front row. Good serve.
She makes it look easy.
Well, the set, even though the pass was a little off the net, the set was still set out there at a very quick pace. You watch how fast this gets out there, and Kip just can't get out there far enough in that time.
Well, here we go.
And it's not easy to hit a quick ball going out there across your body down the line with accuracy. That's a great shot. There's a touch off the block.
And Stanford stays alive.
But with a side-out team, that you're facing, it's just a matter of time. They don't have any 4-point plays out there to tie this thing up.
Into the net and into the books goes this match. The Texas Longhorns dispatch Stanford with professional efficiency. The sweep for the Longhorns, 25-18, 25-18.